smell of stale whiskey and cold concrete. That's what failure smells like. Pressing my face into a freezing garage floor at 2 in the morning, 50 years old, bankrupt and completely out of answers. Now the sun is warm. I'm just sitting in my living room. There are no stained glass windows here. No heavy crosses on the wall, just quiet. My green tea is getting cold. Under my hand is this old black leather Bible. The gold letters on the cover are completely worn away. I went to church for 75 years, every Sunday. I was a good soldier for God, and I need you to know I was lied to, and I believed the lie. I don't have much time left. If you're exhausted from trying to be right all the time, please do not scroll away. I need to tell you this before my time runs out. My fingers trace the edge of this old leather book. Back then, it wasn't a book of comfort. It was a rule sheet, a weapon. I grew up in the thick of it. My father was a deacon. My mother taught Sunday school. For the first 50 years of my life, the world was strictly black and white. There was us, and there was them. I didn't worship money. I didn't care about fame. I worshipped something much more dangerous. I worshipped certainty. I loved the feeling of being right. It fed my ego to honestly believe that my little church, on the corner of Elm Street, had completely figured out the infinite creator of the universe. The arrogance of it makes my chest hurt now. But living inside that certainty, it was a prison. It was a noisy, exhausting way to live. Not the noise of traffic or business, but the noise of constant judgment. Walking down the street, looking at my neighbors, keeping score, categorizing every human being as saved or damned. My faith didn't make me loving, it made me terrified. I was terrified to ask a single real question. In my world, doubt was a sin. If you pulled one string of curiosity, the whole sweater of your life unraveled. So I swallowed the questions. I put on my stiff, itchy Sunday suit. I sat in those hard wooden pews. I said all the right words. But my heart was ice cold. I was trading connection for correctness. I would argue theology with a neighbor while completely ignoring their pain. I cared more about defending a doctrine than I did about holding someone's hand. I was right, and I was completely alone. I was starving for something real, and I didn't even know it yet. The first crack in my armor happened when I was 23. My best friend, a car accident, just gone in a blink. He was the kindest person I ever knew. He didn't care about theology. He just gave his money to strangers and laughed too loud. I remember standing at his funeral. The air was suffocating, smelling of cheap lilies and floor wax. The pastor stood at the pulpit and offered up these rehearsed empty platitudes. "It's all part of God's plan," he said. "He is in a better place." I looked at my friend's mother, shaking uncontrollably in the front row, and for the first time in my life, instead of nodding and saying amen, I felt a hot, violent anger. Canned answers for a bleeding wound. It was the first time I realized that my religion had no room for real human grief, but I was a good soldier. So I swallowed the anger. I shoved it down for nearly 30 years. I built a life on quicksand, smiling on Sunday morning, dying on Sunday night. By the time I was 50, the mask became too heavy to hold up. The business was bankrupt. My marriage was a graveyard. And I was drinking just to quiet the noise of my own hypocrisy. It takes so much energy to pretend you have the universe figured out when your own life is in ashes. It all shattered on a Tuesday. 2 in the morning. I remember the smell of that night. Motor oil, wet cardboard, and cheap whiskey. I was standing in my freezing garage, completely alone. The bank was taking the house. My wife couldn't even look at me anymore. All my rules, my correctness, my perfect theology, none of it stopped the bleeding. I had played the game perfectly, and I had still lost everything. My legs gave out. I hit the cold concrete floor. And for the first time in 50 years, I didn't pray like a preacher. I didn't quote a single scripture. I didn't use the these and thous I was taught. I just broke. I looked up into the dark, oil-stained rafters of that garage, tears mixing with the dust on my face, and I whispered the most honest words of my entire life. "I don't know if you're even there, I really don't, but I am drowning. Please help me." No lightning bolt struck, no angels appeared, just silence. But it was the first true prayer I ever spoke. Stripped of the ego, stripped of the answers. just a broken man, finally admitting he didn't know anything. And in that dark, cold garage, the prison door of certainty finally unlocked. Look at the dust dancing in the sunlight right now. It just floats there, perfectly free. I take a sip of this green tea. It's warm. It's earthy. To just sit here at 75 years old with absolutely nothing to prove, the lightness of it is overwhelming. I wish I could pour this feeling into a glass and hand it to you through the screen. The shift didn't happen overnight. It started a few months after that night in the garage. I was working a night shift at a warehouse, just trying to make enough to eat. At 11 p.m., on a quiet loading dock, I was drinking bad coffee from a styrofoam cup with a co-worker. His name was Ahmed. He was a devout Muslim. The old me, the 49-year-old me, would have seen Ahmed as a project. A lost soul to be corrected. But I had nothing left to defend, so I just listened. I watched him roll out a small rug on the concrete. I watched him bow. And when we talked, he described his faith, the sense of absolute awe, the submission to something too vast to understand, the desperate hunger for peace. My heart started pounding, because it was my hunger. Listening to him under those flickering warehouse lights, I realized that my own soul was speaking back to me through a man I was taught to reject. The language was different, the rituals were different, but the ache to be held by something bigger than ourselves, it was exactly the same. That night, the dam broke. Driven by this new, strange freedom, I started reading. Everything. I didn't read to find ammunition anymore. I read to find family. I read the Quran. I read Buddhist philosophy. I read the Hindu texts. I even read the atheists and realized that their deep, fierce love for the physical world and science was just another form of worship. I sat in meditation circles with Buddhists and felt the profound holiness of pure silence. I visited Pentecostal churches and let the chaotic, unscripted joy wash over me without judging it. I stopped trying to capture God in a test tube, and my life, my simple everyday life, it transformed into a quiet heaven. I wake up now, and there is no terror. I used to wake up terrified of hell, terrified of making a theological mistake. Now I wake up, and I look at the old oak tree outside my window. I don't try to make it a metaphor. I just look at the bark. I watch the birds land on it. It is beautiful, and that is enough. I cook simple meals, tomatoes and garlic and bread. And when I eat, I actually taste the food instead of worrying about the state of my soul. But the biggest change is the people. When I sit with someone now, I am completely there. If my neighbor is crying about her sick dog, I don't offer her a Bible verse. I just put my hand on her shoulder. I make her soup. I sit in the grief with her. I used to love my rules and tolerate people. Now, I love people. I lost my certainty, and I found my peace. If someone asked me today, Russell, what happens when we die? I just smile. I take a sip of my tea and I say the most liberating, holy words a human being can ever speak. I don't know, and it is wonderful not to know. The mystery of existence is just too big, too wild, too beautiful to be trapped inside one building, one tradition, or the pages of one book, Evan, this heavy one resting under my hand. I am just a tiny part of the mystery. I am alive, the sun is warm, and my heart is finally, truly open. The clock on the wall is ticking. It's the only sound in this room. I had to lose everything, my pride, my money, my family, to learn how to actually love. But you don't have to. You don't need a rock bottom moment in a freezing garage to wake up. Look at your own life right now. Are you using your beliefs as a weapon or as a bridge? Let me give you the only truth I found in 75 years. What you believe is completely irrelevant compared to how you treat people. If your faith makes you loving, compassionate, and humble, it is working. If your truth makes you arrogant, judgmental, and cruel, you have lost the plot. You cannot solve the infinite mystery. So stop trying to be right and just start being kind. I cannot fix the first 50 years of my life. That time is gone. But I can help you fix yours. If you know someone who is exhausted from the noise of always being right, share this with them. Help them find the quiet. I know you are exhausted. I can see it. You are carrying the immense, crushing weight of needing to have all the answers. The anxiety of defending your borders, the fear of being wrong, the constant draining mental math of dividing the world into us and them. Listen to this old man. The world tells you that strength is found in certainty, that you must plant your flag, draw your lines, and never yield. But from where I sit now, in the quiet winter of my life, I see the truth so clearly. The grave does not care about your theology. Death strips away the noise. The arguments, the pride, the desperate need to be corrected all burns away like paper in a fire. When the final silence comes, you will not be comforted by the debates you won or the doctrines you defended. Only one thing remains true at the end: connection, love. We are finite creatures trying to hold an infinite mystery. It is not a puzzle to be solved, my friend. It is an ocean to float in. So today, I want you to do just one small thing. I want you to walk outside, look up at the sky, and whisper to yourself, "I don't know." Say it until you feel the relief wash over your bones. Drop the armor, stop guarding the gate. The universe will not collapse if you admit you are simply human. You cannot conquer the infinite, but you can be kind to the person sitting next to you.